all of you for joining the session. And before we start the session, let me tell you some of the ground rules of this webinar. You all will be on mute mode during the session. You will be unmuted for the question answer round after the session. In case somebody wants to ask any question in between, you have the option of typing your question in the chat window. This webinar is being recorded and we'll be sharing the recording with you for future reference. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel for accessing the recordings of the previous webinar, and this webinar recording will also be uploaded on the YouTube channel within 48 hours. So the YouTube channel link will be provided to you on the chat window, and you can subscribe to that link through that link, and you can access the recordings of the previous webinars which are already been uploaded on our YouTube channel and this webinar also. So my name is Rishika Umar and I am the marketing consultant for DevLabs Alliance. Now I'll give you a quick introduction about who we are and what we do. So DevLabs Alliance is the leading provider of technical training and consulting services. So when I say technical training, here I'll name some of the top trending training like SDET and automation, robotic process automation, data science and machine learning, DevOps, blockchain, performance testing, and soft skills. We have presence across various continents, Asia, Canada, USA. Also, we are having the very rich pool of IT professionals, consultants, advisors in the respective segments. Guys, give me a moment. Coming to the next slide, why you should choose us? The practical workshop number 1 with zero theory. Our sessions are completely hands-on with use cases and assignment oriented. Number 2 is small batch size, which is actually a very good thing for the people who are joining our training sessions and joining our batches, because it gives us the ability to give a focused attention to a particular training. So we have limited batch size so that you get the focused attention. Number 3 is our trainers are subject matter experts and have real-time industry experience. Number 4 is latest course curriculum. That is, our course curriculum is designed as per the industry standard. Now, coming to a slide which is actually beneficial for those who wants to enroll for the course today itself, because we have got some very useful offer for you guys, which is we are offering 10% instant discount on the course fees for the webinar attendees, which is valid till tomorrow. So it is mentioned out here that it is valid for today, but today we are ending, it's already end of day. So it is valid till tomorrow, this coupon code. And you guys can, go on the link which has been provided to you over here. We are providing this link on the chat window as well. And you can, go on this link and click on the course details. And then there is an option for enrolling in the particular course. You can apply this coupon out there and get instant 10% discount on the already discounted fees, which are already there available on the website. So those who wants to avail this offer can use this offer as soon as possible. It is valid till tomorrow only. So this is the offer we are giving for today only. We are providing you a free tutorial download and the certificate of webinar participation to the people who are joining the webinar. So we are providing this link to you guys on the chat window during the webinar. We will keep on posting these links and you guys can, click on those links. I'll give you some time to do that. You guys can click on those links and download the few free tutorial which is available out there, plus the certificate of webinar participation you'll get. So these two things you can do immediately. We are sharing this link on the chat window. Meanwhile, I'd like to hand it over to Vignesh, which is our who is our trainer. Our trainers are, as I've already told you, that they are industry experts with more than 10 years of experience in the same field. So with this, I would like to hand it over to Vignesh. Vignesh, you can take this forward now with the agenda.
Yeah, thanks, Rishika.
Yeah.
Night and good morning and good evening all. Um, yeah, this is Vignesh and I have around 13 plus years of experience for testing. I was working on automation and working as an automation architect in designing projects, mostly with Selenium, with Java, Python, and tools like Cypress, Playwright. All these are kind of the new gen tools I started working on it. And coming to this, let's talk more about Selenium. Yeah, that's today topic. Like we are going to discuss about TestNG and Selenium. Yeah. So again, even though there are new tools coming in the market, Selenium and TestNG was, I can say, like kind of pioneer in a stage. And so I can say, like, even though there are tools coming up and going, but Selenium will hold the key. But this TestNG we can use it's not only with Selenium combination. We can go out with latest combination with Playwright. If we are trying to use Playwright, we can still use TestNG with Playwright also. So the might be like that we can see at the later stages. Today, like it's topic is all about TestNG with Selenium framework. Yeah, so might be like we'll start with it. So what is TestNG? TestNG is nothing but a test next generation tool. Okay, the test test it's not stands for testing, and ng stands for next generation. Okay, so previously we have something called JUnit. JUnit is nothing but a Java unit testing framework, and it was not having a lot of issues actually. Like it was not user friendly. So because of that, to overcome all the deficiency of the JUnit, TestNG was developed, and TestNG was developed by uh, Kedrick. Okay, so it was way back in 2000s. We have this framework, and he has introduced a lot of annotations, which is used for configuring our test cases. Okay, so that's how like it was developed, and all know so it is inspired from JUnit. So similarly, we have something called NUnit, that is nothing but a C sharp oriented framework. Okay, so whenever we are working for .NET related stuff, okay, there is a framework called NUnit. So this testing is I can say like it's a combination of NUnit and JUnit. So I can say like that's not a copy version of it. You can say like it's an inspired version of it, and it's come out based on it. And so why TestNG is so popular in Selenium world? Okay, Selenium, you all know Selenium is an open source programming language which is used for automating it. So why TestNG is more popular with Selenium? Okay, so without Selenium, without TestNG cannot be run at test cases. Yeah, we can run it. So there are two ways we can do running a test cases. Okay, so two popular frameworks I can say. One is TDD and BDD. TDD stands for test driven development, and BDD stands for behavioral driven development. So test driven development, you all know, right? Like we're going to write test like kind of a modules which we are going to test it, and we are going to run that particular modules and test it. So whereas in case of behavioral development, so we'll be writing a feature first, then we'll be translating that into a step definitions, and we are going to run it. So uh, in order to run these steps, even the behavioral driven, you need underlining framework there. So either you need to use a JUnit or TestNG, but most likely the people will be using Cucumber with JUnit combination. If you want to explore more, or if you want to utilize more, then you can go with the TestNG combination, Cucumber with TestNG combination. If you don't want to go with the BD style, if you want to just rely on a TDD style, so people will be choosing a TestNG over JUnit. You can again go with the JUnit. So JUnit 4, we have JUnit 5 is the latest one we have, but still the preferred one will be TestNG. Um, so mainly like it offers a lot of things. Okay, as said, TestNG is an open source. So it is readily available. So it comes with a lot of benefits. Okay. And it's easy to use. Okay. So it has all the functionalities. So it is very easy for the beginners to use it. And the documentation on the TestNG is very clear. So you don't need an expert to understand and do it. So if with a simple understanding of Selenium, and you can able to implement it. And since it is kind of a older tool, so you have a very good uh, documentation and also like support in the internet. So if you are stuck somewhere and if you are not able to solve it, you can able to get it resolved easily with the help of the support available over the internet. And as said, so we can able to integrate with Selenium or a Playwright seamlessly. So Playwright is latest edition. I know like you heard about it. Playwright is Microsoft automation tool, and it's an upcoming tool. Basically, like it was heavily on JavaScript, but you can still develop the test cases with Java, Python, C Sharp, etc. Most likely, it is upcoming tool. Might be like you can have on a wish list and you can start exploring about the tool. And as said, we can able to integrate with Selenium easily. So with that help of it, it's gonna save a lot of time. So instead of like if consider we have 10 to 15 test cases, I want to group them, I want to arrange the things. So if you are having a standalone test cases, that is not possible. But with this, okay, like with the help of this TestNG, we can able to integrate it and we can able to implement it easily. And it offers a lot of configurations. Okay, so in order to like how we can able to like group the test cases, how what are the test cases we need to perform before our scenarios, after our scenarios, and watch like how we can add a report in form of listeners if we are executing 10 test cases. If 3 or 4 test cases getting filed, how we are going to rerun those filed test cases. All this can be done using a test engine. So this is, I can say, like kind of a more. So we can configure more actually like in order to get benefit out of it. And it has a inbuilt reporting. And like we will not use that much, but it has a very good reporting. And like at the end of iteration, you will be getting a very good report. As said, these are the major things we have in a test engine. Like first is annotations. So annotation is nothing but in order to run anything. Okay. So we'll be using something called at test. So with that, okay, like we can do something before our test and after our test, or before our class, after our class. Like that, like we have things. So there are around 10 to 15 annotations, which is very popular. So let's explore much when we are doing a demo. So the annotation will play a role. So to set a pre and post conditions. So you can say like pre and post actions before or after our test cases. And then like so we have a dependencies. So dependencies is nothing but like in order to run any test cases. Okay. Suppose consider your login itself file. You don't want to execute our test cases. So if the login is filed, uh, anyway, the application will not work. So there is no use of going into an application and looking on it. So this offers, okay, TestNG offers the dependencies. So we can add dependent test cases. So if I want to go to home screen, I can have the dependent as login. So if my login fails, automatically my subsequent test cases will be skipped. So it will not waste our time in executing it. That's a good feature about it. And groups. So in your day-to-day activities, okay, so we'll be running something called sanity, smoke, regression, all this. So it'll be running on a daily basis, or like when there is a demand. So in order to group our test cases, so which is sanity or which is smoke or which is part of this particular release, so I can group those test cases, and I can run those alone. So that's one of the very important feature. So if you want to run any subset, so we can use something called groups. And then like this is one of the deal breaking things, parallel execution. So if I have 10 test cases, I if I want to run everything one by one, you can do it. Or I don't have any dependencies on all the 10 test cases. I can run 3 or 4 test cases at a time. So then I can go with the parallel execution. So which is going to save time. So I can say like if you're using a parallel execution, at least you can save like 40 to 50% of our execution time. This is again will be used, but you need to write it as cases in order to like it should not have much dependency. Okay, like whatever you are writing it as cases, you need to complete that particular flow. You should not write it as cases, login alone. After that, like one more test cases as like home page. It will not give you impact. Okay, so you need to have a full set of test cases. Okay, for example, so consider you're going to validate a scenario. Uh, yeah, you might be like logging with the correct username and password, and might be like you are validating that username is displayed correctly on a home page. That is one scenario. Consider like the other scenario, like it's might be like you're going to validate a forget password. Okay, so you are clear logging with the incorrect username and password, you're getting an error. So then you are going to click on a forget password and clicking on reset link. So those two test cases does not have any link. So you need to write a test cases in such a way like so you should not have any dependencies or a link between both the test cases. Okay, because this TestNG will run in ascending order. So we can make it run in whatever order we want. Like we can prioritize our test cases, but in general, our TestNG test will run in a ascending order. Okay. So apart from that, like we have other options like so we can set the priority as said like if you don't want to set in ascending order, so we can set or we can set the priority like priority star. It's a number basically like it can give minus or plus values 0 to 100 anything. Okay. So then it offers a data driven testing. Generally like we will not use the inbuilt feature of it, but if you want to do a parameterization and if you want to run using parameters, we can use this data-driven testing as well. So that's again, it's one of the key feature here. And multi-threaded. So for example, um, consider you want to work with different browsers. Same test cases you want to execute on a multiple thread. So again, that is possible. So we can configure a Selenium grid and we can run a test cases with different browsers on different machines. So even we can able to configure that. So like this, there are a lot of things this TestNG offers, and so we can see it. Yeah, so might be like I can say uh, mainly like TestNG is used to make our test cases more enhanced way. So with a good reporting and manipulate a lot of data and manipulate a lot of values, will be using the TestNG. And we have a lot of inbuilt concepts like annotation, configuration, all this we can see at the time of demo. And so it will help you to leverage to write in a more effective way. So that's more about it. Any questions, guys, before going to the demo? Like, do you have any questions? Anyone? Okay. If you don't have any questions, let's jump into uh, programs next. Okay. So might be like we can see a pretty simple scenario. Okay, already I have configured. I don't want to waste the time in configuring it. So let's take a single piece, okay, and let's start writing our test cases, and I will explain how we are going to write it. Okay, so maybe let's take a very simple flow of it. Okay, let's create a new file, and I will say like demo. So in general, like you need to download the TestNG. Okay, so we need to use either Maven or Gradle to download it, or you need to download a jar and build using a build path. You can explore like give it. So already like I have done all the configuration. So I will quickly walk through if needed. So you need to go like you need to create a Maven project, and inside the Maven project, like once you created it, you will have something called this pom.xml file. And in this pom.xml file, like so you need to provide the details like so what are the things needed as a dependencies. So for TestNG, like we'll be giving this dependency, okay, TestNG dependencies, and then like so since we're going to work on Selenium, so we need two things. One is Selenium Java, and one is Selenium WebDriver Manager. So WebDriver Manager is used to download the driver dependencies, and Selenium Java is used for like running our test cases, like providing a Selenium commands. So if you're using a playwright, so this two things will change, and you need to use the playwright things, and this will be common for playwright as well. So same test engine you can use it. So now let's take a pretty simple scenario. Might be okay. Let's take this Facebook, okay, and let's see how we're going to launch and how we're going to enter the values here. So let's take this scenario. Let's see how we're going to do it. So always remember, so when we're going to do it, our test cases will start with at test annotation. So here we don't need a main method, all this. So we'll be having a at test annotation to start our test cases with. So it'll start with at test annotation, and we're going to have it. So I will say, so in general, if you want to do it, how we'll be doing, we'll be creating a main method, all this. But here we don't need it. So we'll be starting with at test, test is capital letter T, and it will ask you to import it. Okay. So at test, and then followed by this case name, public void Facebook. Okay. So we see here, it is asking us to import our test engine annotation. So already I have a JUnit as well. So it is asking whether, so at test is common for everything, JUnit 4, JUnit 5, and also TestNG. So I'm just adding a TestNG library here. Okay. The first step is to provide a test annotation. Okay. So now here, what we're going to do. So before, in general, so before I want to log into my application. So before this test, I need to launch my URL. So I will write a before method at before method. Okay. So I need to launch my URL. I will say public void before method, or I will say like initiate. Okay. So I'm going to initiate a browser. So without this also it's gonna work. Okay. So without this you can able to do it. But it's a good way, like if you are like writing a before and after method, so that it looks good. Okay. So anyway, like at the time of framework, we are going to see all this. So and similarly, after our test, what we are going to do? I'm going to close it. I will say like at after method, I'll say public void data. So we're going to close our test. So again, it will ask you to import it. So you can import it. If you don't want to import one by one, so you can give that star. Okay. So it will be importing everything. So I have a before method and I have an after method. Okay. So I have a test case here. So before this test case, it will be running. If you have one more test case also, before that method also, this particular piece will run. If you don't want to run each time, so instead of before method, we can have a before class. So for this particular class, it's gonna run only once. Okay. So for example, let's start with it. Okay. So I will say I will declare a WebDriver outside so that I can use it. I will say like public WebDriver. Okay. So again, it will ask you to import it. So WebDriver manager dot Chrome driver dot setup. So this will used for downloading our dependencies. Okay. So WebDriver manager dot Chrome driver dot. So it will download the binaries of driver. So after this, so we're going to say WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. But since we have initialized driver already, I don't need to say WebDriver driver. So I can just give driver equal to so that driver will be carried throughout. So then now we have initialized our driver. So if I want to launch any set in Selenium, the command is driver.get. That is a command we will be using for launching any site. Okay. So I'll say might be I will give that piece in this Facebook login. Okay. So might be I will give driver dot manage dot timeout dot implicit wait. Okay. This is just to wait. Okay. Duration dot of seconds, 30 seconds. Suppose if our URL is taking a lot of like element is taking a lot of time, so we can use it. In order to get for URL, same thing, timeouts dot set load timeout, and we can specify the timeout. That's for URL. Okay. So now in order to maximize it, so same thing. Driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. Okay. Now let's see how we're going to launch our site. So let's see like driver dot get and followed by URL. So for example, if you're not declaring our driver here, okay, and we are initializing our driver here, okay. So what happens is like, so the driver will not be carried here. So you can see here. So whatever it within the method, it will be available. So it is called as the instance of variable. So like here, it will not come out of it. The control. So that's the reason we are declaring our WebDriver outside. And again, if you're using this driver here, so it will be getting confused. Okay, this will not treat as a global node. So if you remove it, then only it will be considering. Okay, so you can see like the color is getting changed. Okay, and even if you go here, okay, you can see like where it is navigating. Okay, now driver.get, I need to paste the URL. Our URL is this. So now we are going to launch our site. Okay. So after that, I need to enter the username and password here. Okay. So inspect. So this is my, so in Selenium, there are 8 ways you can find a locator of an element. Locator is nothing but an address of an element. So like ID, name, expert, CSS, link text, partial link text, tag name, and class name. So these are the 8 ways you can do it. So if you have ID and name, you can use it. So in this case, we have a name and also ID. I'm going to use a name. So anything, even ID, you can use it. Okay, let's take an ID. So I will say like driver dot find element by dot ID. Okay, our ID dot send keys and some value. Okay. Might be I'm just entering this down. So now after entering it, so we need to enter some value on the password field. Okay, same logic, inspect. Okay, so these are the things we have. These are the attributes the developer used for this password field. So again, we have the ID and name. So again, I can use any of this. Okay, so might be I will use this ID. I will say private dot find element by dot ID, our ID dot send keys, and say like some password. Okay. Okay, so now after that, I'm going to click on this login button. Okay, so if you see here, you don't have an ID, so I have a name here, so I can use it. Or if you don't have name and ID, so then you need to go with the next path. Okay, let's go with the next path or CSS. So it is /button at this. This is my X path. I can use it. Okay, so I will say driver dot find element by dot X path, our X path, click. Okay, so dot click. Okay, this is my test case. Okay, so might be like I don't want to put this. Might be here. I'll do one thing. I'll cut this and paste it. So this is my test case. Okay, and tear down. We are going to close it. Okay, as of now, I'm not going to do it. Okay, I was just calling out as okay, tear down. Like that. Okay. I don't want to close it so that it will be hard for me to explain it. So the first test case, so we're going to write it. Okay. So what we're going to know now is like, so I'm going to, okay, so run this piece and see whether this works or not. Okay. So now if I run it, we can run from here, or we have something called testng.xml freeze file. Okay. Here we need to provide our test case. Okay, so where is our test case, and we can run from here as well. So if you want to provide the thread count, all this you need to run from here, or for doing our local testing. Okay, since we are going to run it, so you can run it from here. But the suggested way in real time, so we'll be running from this TestNG XML file. So just it's pretty simple. So open this. Okay, so you need to provide our class name. So where is our class name is located? So it's inside this. So you can also get this information from this. Even alt enter, you'll get this seeded. So it's SRC test. So this is the path. Okay. So inside that automation, inside the test.ng demo, and our name is demo.java. So this is the what like we have it. So com.test.ng and our file name is demo. Okay. And it will run only that particular test case with the name of demo. So you can run from here as well. Okay, so both will give you the same result. So it will start our execution. Something is wrong. Whatever. Okay, sorry. Like I have set a timeout, guys. So because of that, it's throwing an error. So sorry for it. This is to demonstrate other examples I have provided it. Just a second. I'll try to run from here. So driver manager from develop settle primary component. I guess the issue with the dependencies, guys, since I'm using a old version, it was not okay. So let me quickly change the dependencies version. So, so WebDriver Manager 5.4 is the one. Similarly, like I will update Selenium as well. So 4.8. Okay. So I will put as way to anyway. Yeah. So issue with the plugin. So now it has entered the username and password. It has launched. Okay. So what happens if you notice here? So our test case got executed. So before our test case, might be I had not printed. Okay. So this would now perform this step, initiate browser. After that, it is performing this, and finally it is doing a teardown. Okay. So if you want to close it, I will give driver.close. So automatically it will close our browser, and driver.quit. It will quit the instance. So now what we have done, so I'm going to now what we're going to do is like, so consider we are going to validate first Facebook is launched or not. So after launching a Facebook, we are entering the username and password. So what if I need to write a logic? Okay, I need to verify a title or I need to verify this logo. Okay, so how we are going to? So based on that, I'm going to run my test case. Okay, so I can do that as well. So I will write at test. Okay, at test, and I will say like public void test login, or I will say like test page title. So let's verify the page title. Okay, already we have opened the site. Okay, so I will say string title equal to driver dot get title. This will give you the title of the website, and asset is used for asserting it whether it's true or false. Okay, asset dot asset equals or asset true, whatever we can give. Okay, so asset equals, that means like what is our actual title. So this is my actual. So what is expected? So this is expected. Okay. So when we launch our Facebook, this is our expected title. So we can use a also use a contains as well. So this is my title. This is my expected title. So I want to make sure only if this is true, I want to execute this test cases. So I will write depends on method equal to, I can just give this name of it. That's it. So only if this is true, my this test case will be executed. Okay. So if this is false, this will not be executed. Okay. So if this is true, then only it will be executed. If not, it will not be executed. So we use before method. Before method means it will be for each method it will be executed. So instead of that, I'm going to modify a before class. So that will be executed only once before class. And here I will say like after class. That's it. So now if you run our test cases, so this will be first it will initiate the browser and it will verify the title. If my title is true, then it will go to this and it will be executing it. Okay. So if you want to make sure like your test cases in ascending order or you are trying to prioritize it. Okay. So you can do like this. So but in general, it will be running on depend on means like it will go in a way, but you want to maintain an order, you can give like this. So A and B, so that like A test case will go and then it will go to the B test case. So let's run it. Run as TestNG test. So now our test cases got executed. Okay. So if we see here, since I have run right click and run it from this option, it has executed only that particular test case. Okay. You can notice it has executed only that particular test case. It does not run this. So if you are running right click and running this on a whole, it will run everything. Or the safest option is to go here and run it. So it will without any issues, it can execute it. Yes. Sorry. You need to be very careful if you're modifying anything. So now it is going to launch our Facebook. And now it has entered the username and password. So now you can see two test cases are executed, two are false. Suppose, okay. So I'm going to wantedly make some changes on the expected title. Okay. So I will say I'm taking out this. Okay. I'm just giving us this. Our title will not match now. If I'm trying to run it, you can see our login test case will not be run this time. It will be skipped. So you can see there is one failure and one test case is skipped. So previously both the test cases are executed. Now you can see like one test cases ran and other test cases is skipped. It is skipped because of that particular thing. So if we see here, you will get a detailed output. Okay. So here there is a assertion thing. Okay. So what it is say, so you are expecting Facebook, but we have found Facebook login dot sign up. We are finding that. So the assertion fails here. So because of that, our execution not started. See, it is saying this particular method is depends on that. So because of that, our execution not started. And if you want to compare the results, you can compare it. Okay. So this is expected, and this is what you have received. Okay. So because of it, our test case is not executed. You'll get a quick summary of the test cases, all this, and even the reporting, it will be there, guys. Okay. So reveal and file explore. Not sure I configure a report here. Okay, see, this is the report. If you see here, this is executed a minute ago, and you can see the report. 2 test cases executed, 1 passed. Okay, so sorry, like one filed. Okay, so what is the issue we'll be getting, and it'll give you like the details, like what exactly it is filed. Okay, all the assertion error. So because of that, this is not executed. Okay, and also we will get a emailable report as well. Okay, so this is kind of more in a better format. Okay, so this particular test case is filed and this is skipped because of it. Any doubts, guys? Any questions? Rishika, you can unmute if the participant want to raise any questions.
Sure, Vignesh. I will, unmute the participants to ask the questions.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Vinesh and everybody.
Yeah,
My question, right? So, so now I'm asking if you can show your script there on the IDE that you wrote. So, if I want to now call, let's say, call this method, the test method from another, let's say, another package.
yeah,
Is it possible? Because I tried one time. Let's say I write this code, this test login code, into a different class in a different package. Now, when I called this this class and I wrote my object, that it gave me an error, which is a null point exception. I couldn't resolve that issue. I was like, what happened? But if you run it like this on the same class, it was running fine. But when I called from another package, it was giving me an error.
yeah, it will work.
So
Okay,
that's
so
my question.
probably, yeah. So for example, see, like we have done that as well. So consider like you have write a method like this. So if you see here, so we have a list of methods written. Okay, so like enter username, enter password, all this. Okay, this is a method from another package. Okay, so and I'm going to call this inside this. So if you see here, it is connecting to that particular thing. Okay, so open declaration, you can see it is going to this particular level, and you can see. So you need to either extend it or you need to create a object for it, and you're going to call it. So if you see here, I'm extending it. So and I'm creating an object and I'm calling it. So we have something called object oriented concept. Okay, like we have inheritance. Okay, so we have polymorphism. All this will play a major role in order to do this. So you need to understand that like how the oops concept works. So if you understand that, you can able to do that. Like, it is possible. Okay, so unless your method is not private, you can able to do it. Okay, so if it is public or private, you can able to do it.
Okay.
Just give it a try. Okay, just try to learn like object oriented programming concept of Java, and then you can do it.
Cool. All right. Thanks.
Any other questions, guys?
I think we can continue.
No, like this is what I planned for the demo, so we're good.
Okay.
Might be like detailed one because like since you are pretty new to the topic, okay, I don't want to discuss very detailed scenario so that like it'll be confusing for you. So I take a pretty simple scenario so that like it'll be easy for you guys to understand it. Any other questions, guys? Anyone having any questions or any doubts on syllabus or anything? Okay. So already like Shmi or like so we have this is how the batch works, guys. Okay. So like we will have more practical sessions as discussed today. So we'll have a lot of hands-on session, and I can say like 70 to 80% of the courses will be on hands-on. Only 20% like we'll be just visiting like what is the topic we're going to cover for the day, and we'll be just explaining it, and then like we'll have a practical session. And the practical sessions like you are going to do it, like it's not like I will be doing it and I'll be just leaving it. So it's like we will make the participants to work, so we'll be giving assignments like lab assignments, and also like we'll have the in like while we are the class like we'll have the assignments, and it's kind of pair programming. So we will you will share the screen and show the output, or like if you stuck somewhere, so it'll be helping to do it. So it's like more like an hands-on session, and so roughly like we'll have 4 to 5 participants in a batch. So again, it's a good thing, like you will have a good attention towards it. Yeah, so might be like you can give more details about like when it is starting all this, Rishika.
So I think, Vignesh, we are good with this. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. And guys, thank you all for attending this session. And every month we are conducting such webinars. Follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook for the latest updates on the upcoming webinars. And as I already told you that we are, continuously uploading the recordings of our previous sessions and the upcoming webinars and the upcoming sessions recordings on YouTube. You can access those recordings. You can check the link which has been provided to you over the chat window. You guys can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You guys can, like and follow our LinkedIn page for the latest updates on the various webinars which we are conducting. And the we used to post the blogs and the tutorial links also on our company page. So you guys can access that link from our company page and reach onto a particular webinar through that. So thank you for being here, and we appreciate you being here. And our next batch is going to start. Just a moment, I'll show that PPT again. If you guys want that coupon code, we are sharing it again over the chat window. And we are offering 10% instant discount on the course fees, which is available on our website. So please, if you want to enroll for the course, enroll it today itself or by tomorrow. There is an instant 10% discount for the webinar attendees. So thank you for being here. Thanks.